researcher, expert in his field, and also, as you hopefully can tell, brings a great deal of energy, brings a great deal of passion and knowledge to his classroom as well. So I encourage you to check him out. As I was thinking about the pathway for us this term, and how I wanted us to go from the beginning, you're 10 weeks into your school here at Drexel, how did I want to go from week 11 to week 20? And now you're far enough along that you've met people, you're far enough along, you've heard the term networking, go to this event. But what we don't do is really help you to understand what you should do when you get there. What should you do when you get to this event today that David talked to you about? High profile alumni coming today at 4 o'clock. What should you do when you get there? Sit in the back and do nothing. You good?
Yeah, I'm up.
What you should do is practice the things that Mike is about to talk to you about. What you should do is take down a lot of the ideas he's about to give to you. Whether you're writing them down, whether you're snapping a photo of a slide, whether you're using your laptop and you're taking notes, not finding the end of the internet, but instead using his experience and his expertise to really make networking events like this one and others that you'll go to far more impactful. So please join me in welcoming my friend, LeBeau alum, and speaker for today, Mike Lupo. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. You know, for years I was asking for a clicker from Chris to the extent that he would laugh at me because it's best to not be behind the slide deck the whole time, and we don't got it for this time. So I'm gonna have to blame him. So I'm gonna have to hit arrows. No, I'm just playing. We're gonna get through some things a little bit faster because we got started a little bit later. I just want to start off with get two hands. What comes to mind when you hear the word networking? Perfect. We just had this David come. When he said a networking event tonight, what are the thoughts and the feelings that came to you?
Outreaching. So outsourcing connections to people
Mm-hmm.
that you admire, that you want to work with, or someone that you want to mentor with.
I like that. I like that. Let's get another. I like the smaller groups. This is more intimate. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. With related interests, I like that. Give me one more. Making your name known. Right. We're going to talk. How do you maybe do that? What are some? I think most people feel like when they're actually at the event, it could be a little uncomfortable. It could be a little. Why is that? I don't mean to put that on you. It's just really the most normal thing ever when you go to an event. So you show up tonight, you dress up, you pack your business cards. Why can it feel a little bit uncomfortable? Maybe someone on this side?
You might not have the experience that some people have, or you might
Okay.
not know how to make conversation with people, share higher experiences than you.
Right. Everyone hear that? Okay, awesome. I definitely feel like the not being able to make conversation is an aspect that I'd love to double down on, because the truth be told, there's a reason why I crossed out networking and I said relationship building. Because if we can get better at being conversationalists, if we can get better at shooting the breeze with one another and keeping it lower pressure than what sometimes these suit and tie, sign up for the event and go, and then you're like, oh, I'm nervous because I don't know how to make conversation. Let's make this about this, however long we have, into how do we make conversation feel more organic and root to making serious connections, relationships that can actually ultimately manifest into job opportunities. Does that sound okay? Doesn't that feel a little bit better of an approach than here's how to network? Here's how to make good conversation with people. The real problem, as Chris alluded to, is no one's really teaching you how. I heard the same thing from someone as valuable as David for many, many years. Go to the networking event. And how? What do I do when I get there, right? What conversations do I start? It really is primarily talked about in formal events. You don't hear about networking like I reached out to Chris and said, Happy New Year. I just stayed in touch with him. We don't talk about those low pressure, easy to do things like networking. Like you, some of you in the room, did anyone connect with me on LinkedIn? Some of you connect with me? Anyone? Well, you should. I got like 50 connection. Maybe it was from more of the first 2 classes. You should connect with me. That's networking. Just because we don't have a suit and tie and you didn't exchange a business card with me doesn't mean we're not building a relationship. We're not starting an actual conversation. And that's what I want to make this about. It creates this high pressure situation where like you anticipate these results, and the results are oftentimes do look like the picture above. And the change in mindset that I want you to take from this is that networking isn't about the quantity of the cards collected. It's about the quality of the connections made. Who's heard of this phrase, it's all about who you know? By a show of hands. Awesome. Anyone who I haven't heard of, which is most people. What does this mean? What does this mean to you? Anyone maybe in this section? What's your name? Chris. What does that mean?
It means like people want to help out people that they actually want to be around. So if you meet people that actually know you, they're gonna want to help you.
I love it. And you teased what is to come, and I'm glad even on this slide itself. What you said was hugely valuable, and I really hope everybody heard. What's the problem with it's all about who you know? The thing is, like, you all know me now. Great. But I don't know you yet, right? So I've since evolved this to become, it's actually about who knows you. Does that make sense? You guys know me? I don't know you yet. I just met 3 of you who raised your hand. And then I had 10 years of successful selling experience at some of the fastest growing tech companies in the world. And during that same period of time, I had 3 or 4 different sales gigs, and I earned those job opportunities at some of the most competitive companies in the world. And what I realized was a parallel, that the job search is sales. And if that's the case, then the reality is how you earn a sale is the same thing as how you earn a job offer. It's actually, Chris hit it right on the nail on the head. I think you saw the deck out before this, but it's all about who knows you, likes you, and trusts you. Do you see how I've kind of evolved from, yeah, it's who you know, to who do you actually have a connection with, a relationship? Even just Chris pointing that out, that's more memorable. I like Chris now. Let's connect afterwards. Okay, I trust him more. And what leads to, that oftentimes leads to being more hireable. Do you see why that would be the case? Awesome. I hope you take something from this conversation here. So why do relationships matter so much for landing jobs? I'm going to throw out a few data points. I like the by the numbers, and then we'll talk about things a little more high level. But the reality is, right now you got this beautiful structure of Drexel co-op system, A round, B round. I got a whole job board. You know they're accepting job. The reality is when you graduate, if you don't use any networking whatsoever, and you just rely on applying to the jobs on LinkedIn or Indeed, whatever you use, you have under a 2% chance of landing that job. Well, what's your math, Mike? Well, I don't know. Let's say Meta opens up a job. There's going to be 5,000 applications within like 10 minutes. Look at them right now. If 5 people get interviews and 1,000 people apply, what's the math on that? It's 2% is pretty generous. Who you know matters. Who knows you matters. Crazy, but 1 in 5, almost 1 in 4 jobs out there that are posted are fake. There's no intent to fill them. It's crazy. This is to say that we want to show the world that we're hiring, so we're going to put 50 jobs up there. And the reality is, there's no intent to actually hire. It's really, really crazy what's going on right now. But do you see why knowing someone and making a connection, then you expose, wait, are they actually hiring or is this bullshit? And that means time saved. I can reallocate my time to something more valuable. Half of jobs are filled through internal referrals. I don't know if that phrase resonates. Does anyone know what an internal referral is? I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions. So what's an internal referral?
An internal referral is usually an employee or often a higher up who knows the candidate and can vouch for their efforts or knowledge.
100%. You know what? It's crazy with the internal referrals. I worked for a company that said if you recommend a friend or whatever past colleague, we'll give you $5,000 if they get hired. I've had friends, I'm laughing because I've had friends that said, dude, I made $50,000 last year. Like, on internal referrals, it's insane, but people want to bring in people that they what, Chris? And who they, appreciate it, man. 70% of jobs are not posted publicly. I said in the last class, and I'll say it again, if the lights turned out and we had to finish class right now, it's one of those things that I hope you'd internalize and change the way that you approach your job search for many years to come. The rest of the world that's not in this room is competing over that other bucket, that 30%, definitely not the 70, because nobody knows or is talking about the hidden job market. That's what this is called. Look it up. You have 90% of the world fighting for this small little 1/3 bucket. Meanwhile, the most valuable jobs in the whole world are not posted publicly. How do you think that they're filled? Yes, I've hinted at it for 15 minutes. How do you think that they're filled? 100%. By the numbers and hopefully everything else that I say, kind of creates this rounded understanding of the value of these relationships. And then holistically, I just wanted to round it out by saying 80% of jobs are filled through some form of networking. I know it's a lot of numbers, but anything to stick out in particular, anything that made you raise an eyebrow or say like, wow, that's unbelievable. Just curious. Any thoughts, any feedback? Thanks for raising your hand in the back.
Hi, I'm Charlotte. I think that definitely the 20% posted jobs being fake is definitely really interesting.
This is like someone new, this big study that just came out from Greenhouse at 18 to 22%. It's insane. And you said Charlotte, right?
Yes.
See, even just saying your name before you, and I didn't ask for that, and I don't know if anyone else did, but even just saying, hi, I'm Charlotte. Hi, I'm Chris. Maybe I wouldn't have asked, maybe I will ask. It's the third hour that I've been speaking. Even just the little thing in conversation dynamics. Thank you for saying that, Charlotte and Chris. Now I know them, I like them, and they're more trustworthy. It really does work like this. I know I'm simplifying this crazy big word down to basic conversation dynamics, but I think that's what I think could be most valuable, especially as you enter in tonight's networking event. I want to talk about the two mindsets on how to become more likable and trustworthy. That would be so fair if you guys were thinking that. Two mindsets, traditional and new wave, or just what works. Traditional mindset, it's a me mindset. And the thing is, I wrote 90% of people live here because I want to normalize it. I understand you guys just got here just a few months ago. You're not 20-year vets. This isn't automatic. What can I get from this conversation? Let me tell you about me. How quickly can I get this conversation to benefit me? I understand why this is the likely mindset, and the majority of folks bring this into events like tonight. I get that. Let's play out a quick situation. Anyone in the room like a vegan or a vegetarian or just like not eat meat? Doesn't matter whatsoever, totally fine. Anyone? What was your name?
Vivek.
What is it?
My name's Vivek.
Vivek? With a K? Okay, Vivek. So let's say we go to the networking event tonight. For some reason we're talking about food. Bear with me. And I introduce myself, hey, I'm Mike. I own a chain of the best steakhouses in Philadelphia. You got to try my ribeye and the New York strip. In all likelihood, Vivek, how do you feel being on the receiving end when I enter into the conversation with some assumptions and I share with you, I got the best ribeye in town. You should try it. How do you feel in this engagement? Does my question make sense at all? Can anyone? It's all good. What do you think?
I would say Vivek is kind of like not connected because he doesn't eat steak, so it's like why
Right.
would you mention steak to someone that doesn't eat?
Right. Does that make sense though? Just a little bit uncomfortable perhaps. I don't mean to project potential feelings on you. It's just when you make assumptions about anybody and just go into talking about yourself, oftentimes it does happen like that where you're like, ooh, they didn't learn anything about me. They don't know a thing about me and they're pushing this ribeye, New York strip steak on me and I don't eat anything that you're serving. Let's switch it up. Let's talk about the different mindset that I really, really, really hope that you can practice over the long period of time. What can I learn from this conversation? What can I give or share with this other person? Does that make sense? How that would, you were mentioning, what was your name?
Right.
Ray? Making conversation with people. You want to make it easier for yourself to have conversation that actually has impact, that builds serious connections. Have this mindset. What can I learn from this conversation? What can I give or what can I share with that other person? So same situation plays out, and instead of saying, try my ribeye, say, what food do you enjoy? Through that answer, in all likelihood, I can quickly gather they're not going to be an immediate customer of mine, and that's okay, right? Because I didn't assume meet new clients like this little image says up top. I asked a question with the intent to learn. So I say, oh, I actually know the owner of a killer vegan restaurant. The owner's name is Chris Finnan, and he has this restaurant called Chris's Vegan Shop, Uncreative, and it's down on 15th and Market Street. You got to check it out. In all likelihood, how does that person feel? They probably feel heard. They probably feel like, oh, you kind of give a shit about me. You asked me some questions, right? Here's how this really does play out. I wanted to use this food example because I think it's simple. Here's how this plays out. She goes to that restaurant because, and I text Chris, hey, food for two tonight, a Saturday night. They're coming down. Vivek's coming down. Then the 2 weeks go by, and his roommate is like, oh, dude, I'm fucking starving. I really want to go out to dinner. I've been studying for midterms all week. And he knows that his roommate is not vegan and he eats meat. And he might say, and he does say, and this is seriously what happens is, I know a guy. I actually just talked to him the other day at this event, and he owns the best steakhouse in town. And he said to me, you should try my ribeye. Now he suggested to the friend goes to my restaurant, not him. I didn't enter into the conversation assuming he was a customer. I asked questions, I learned, and then I acted on that information. I recommended you go, I shared, I gave, right? It wasn't about me. But the reality is, what goes around comes around. And do you see how it went from not a potential customer, but I'm just going to make it about you, to her referring her roommate or his roommate to me, and eventually I did get a customer. Does that story make sense? Yes? Okay, awesome. The same applies, believe it or not, to networking. Go into conversations asking yourself, what can I learn? Once you change your mindset of one of service for others, you end up receiving more than you ever could imagine in terms of long-term relationships and future job opportunities. Appreciate the nodding. The third hour of this, you know what I mean?
Welcome to my world.
I don't know how you do this all day. I need a jug of water. But how do I possibly know how to learn, share, help, add value to this other person that I just met? The thing is, guys, as a freshman, your value, it's not the experience quite yet. You don't have 2 decades of finance experience, and that's okay. Your value is curiosity, it's effort, and it's follow-through. Guys, what does being curious sound like? Dare I say genuinely curious? What does being genuinely curious sound like? What was your name?
My name is Aya.
Aya?
And I think being genuinely curious is like when you meet someone, you like ask them questions, and then afterwards you continue to look into like that person.
You mean follow-up?
Experience.
Right? Follow-up? That sounds like curiosity and follow-up, what you just articulated. I didn't mean to interrupt you. That was just perfect. I love the continuation, right? That's what I'm preaching, long-term connections and relationships, not just transactions. This isn't 7-Eleven going in for a Gatorade, okay? This is real connections. These are all gonna be your future coworkers, maybe boss situation in 5 to 10 years, trust me. What does curiosity sound like? I wanna talk about 2 forms of questions with you guys. This alone will change the way that you operate in conversations. This is a great question that you asked earlier. Completely. And this changed the game for me. It's something that I adopted with sales because really you get great at sales. The people who are amazing at sales ask great questions. But in particular, there's 2 types of questions. One that most people fall into, and the other type is not that type. It's closed-ended and there's open-ended. Closed-ended questions. Does anyone know what closed-ended question is? Yes.
It's essentially
100%. Don't need to ask anybody else. That was money. Everyone hear that? If you ask a question and you know that the answer could be a single word, very likely, right, yes or no. That's not an open-ended conversation. And what happens when you ask close-ended questions?
It kind of discontinues the conversation. So like if you were expecting there to be an engagement between you and the other person,
Right.
it kind of cuts off room for engagement.
You have 5-year or 4-year?
4 years.
Conversation's over. Just like that. What did you say? We're disconnected? Great. How much did I get to know him, really? And so what I wanted to do is show you some examples. And first with peers. There's peers, there's professors, there's alumni, there's future employers. With the time I have, I'll see what I can get to. But peers, you guys are just meeting one another. Close-ended. I asked it. You have 4 or 5? He said, what'd you say, 4 or 5? 4. Conversation's done. That's not exciting. You didn't learn about me, I didn't learn about you. We can't help each other. All right, on to the next one. But how did you decide on your major? Just for time, I won't have you answer that. But you can imagine that asking the question, like, how did you decide, right? I bolded the words that indicate what an open-ended question is, guys. What excited you about coming to Drexel? How did you choose your major? What's been your favorite part of campus so far? When you're it's interesting to come in here when you guys are freshmen because, like, this stuff, I know we talk about it all in terms of getting jobs, and I appreciate that. I know why we're here. I went here, I landed a job before graduation, I was in your shoes, but like, I hadn't simplified it quite as much in the other classes as like when you asked about conversation, making conversation. That's all this is. It's amazing that just asking these types of questions also answers the question, how do I make friends at Drexel? I didn't think that that was going to be a byproduct. I thought this was mostly about jobs. It is. But it's just good conversation, right? And when I hear how you decided on your finance major, maybe I hear a story, someone reflecting on that one thing in junior year of high school that inspired them. And wait, what if I can relate to that story? Oh, now we're cooking. Do you see how an open-ended question that yields a story is much better than the yes, no? Am I making sense, everybody? More importantly, do you see how this isn't just about networking for job? This is seriously relationships with anyone, with Chris, with your fellow classmates, with alumni. Am I making sense, everybody? Amazing. I'm gonna, again, just for time, I'm gonna go to the future co-op employers and say some close-ended questions. Hey, do co-ops normally work on-site or remote? Is there a recruiter I should connect with? And then Chris comes in and says, I read your last company report on AI in 2026, and you know what stuck out to me was how much you emphasize human oversight alongside automation. How do you see that evolving as AI agents become more and more prevalent? The thing is, like, Chris is going to be right next to the person that said, is there a recruiter I should connect with? Who's going to be more hireable, everybody? Who's going to be more hireable? Does that make sense, Chris? You know what I'm saying? Of the co-ops you've eventually hired full-time, post-grad, what qualities did those people possess? Just know that you are right next to the person saying, do co-ops normally work on-site or remote? Close-ended. Close-ended means the conversation is closed. I want you to ask thoughtful, well-researched questions that, yes, have a how or a what in front of them to stimulate conversation that really makes you more likable, more trustworthy, and absolutely more hireable. Am I making sense, everybody? Really appreciate it. Effort and follow-through. Remember I said curiosity? We definitely covered off on curiosity. But the effort and the follow-through part, I think, is missed. The how could I possibly add value or help or support anybody that's not just my age, like a future employer. Tonight, was it 6 o'clock or whatever time the event is tonight, how could I possibly? And I want to go through a few examples. So with a peer, I want to do peers first and then I have the alumni. So here's just making friends, adding value, sharing, giving, and not just making it me, me, me. Oh, that's awesome. I actually bookmarked a YouTube video about that last week. You want me to send it to you? That is, you are actually being of value to them. Now they learn something new because you send them that YouTube video. Yeah, I hear you. You know, someone a year ahead of me went through something similar. Do you want me to connect you two? Making sense? You're a connector now. You're helping them build new relationships. You're of high value to that other person and more likable. You'd probably love this organization I'm a part of. If you want, I can bring you to the next meeting. Consider some of these things when you're building friends and connections. This resonating with you, guys? These small ways that I know you didn't think I'm being of value to somebody else, but in the reality is thinking about them, being considerate of them, supporting them, asking questions, learning, and then sending them somewhere, bringing them somewhere, that is being of value. That's building relationships. Let's go to the potential future co-op or full-time employers. So you had the first conversation tonight, effort and follow through, everybody. Would it be okay if I followed up once I looked into the thing that you mentioned tonight? Now you're creating a situation in which you can reach back out to them again, and then again, and now you're really building relationships because you've talked to them 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Does that make sense? Finding reasons to follow up. Now you're meeting them again, and now, oh, A round is coming up, and I've been nurturing that relationship by following up. I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget it. Now that person looks like someone who cares about what that other person said. Try that out. I know it's insane. Try that out tonight. I'm gonna write down so I don't forget it. You show that you care. You met them one time. You know, last time we talked, you mentioned a skill that really matters to people you hire after graduation. I just finished a LinkedIn learning course on developing that skill set. I'd love to share my biggest couple of takeaways with you. Effort and follow-up. You're instantly more likable and more trustworthy. Let me give you an example of something that the vast majority of folks will not do, but has high return on investment. It's the employer that says no to you. A round, you wanted to work for JP Morgan and they say no, or what is it, qualified alternate, or whatever they call it. You don't get the job. You feel initial feelings of resentment. Fuck that company. I don't want to work there anymore. Or, how do I use relationship building stuff I learned in that class that one time to nurture the relationship so that in a year or 2 or 5, I can come back even stronger and actually land that gig? Well, you know, since we spoke last, during that interview process last summer, I worked on a couple of class projects. I won a competition case study, the thing that David was talking about, that directly built on the area you mentioned as an opportunity for growth. I'd love to share with you some ways that I learned and I grew from that. Wow. Can you be honest with me? If you're a hiring manager who said no to someone a year ago and they come back and they say that, I took what you said, I learned, I grew, I took courses, projects, I got stronger, and I'm ready to come back to you. I feel like I'm more hireable. How do you think that hiring manager looks at that individual who has the courage to say that last quote up there? Honestly, anyone? Can anyone tell me?
I would say that the individual would appear more dedicated than any other candidate.
Yes.
Not only were you rejected, you didn't just give up, you made effort to improve yourself.
Yep. Everyone hear that? See how the effort and the follow through? Effort, follow through, curiosity. It's about conversation dynamics. So I know we're a couple minutes out, and I think that you have to do a code, right, Chris? That you came to class or something. So I want to pause for a moment there so you guys can do that.
Guys, jump into Blackboard quickly. And you go into the 102C, or if you're in Dana's class, you know where to go. So if you go to 102C, the word for today is ledger. Ledger. Jump into week 2 in the attendance quiz. And the word is ledger. L-E-D.
Time is it?
It is
G-E-R.
12:47.
Flash you back to your accounting days.
Doing well.
The last term. Ledger. L-E-D. G-E-R. And we got you for today. Then slam your laptop shut, grab your phone. Mike's got some QRs for you to take a look at, both of which are wickedly wickedly awesome.
Thanks for staying with me. I really hope that you've taken some stuff. Thanks for scanning the QR before I even told you what it is. That could be anything, guys. You be careful. So what I appreciate, if you guys don't mind sticking with me for like 2 more minutes, what I really appreciate, because I was in your shoes, is that you might say this stuff has been great for long-term relationship building. Does it apply when I'm trying to get a job now? When I really do need something now? And the reality is everything that I shared in terms of curiosity, effort, and follow-through applies when A round is coming up, when you really are trying to connect with the VP of Finance at JP Morgan, who you know is the one hiring for your co-op role. And so in this ebook about turning cold messages into referrals, cold meaning I don't know you at all, how to break in, how to meet that VP of Finance and have the courage to reach out and communicate your value and say, I think I'm worthy of giving a look for this co-op job that's coming up. In this ebook, there's formulas for what to say, how to say it, why, the value of networking. This is to turn people that you do not know into your biggest advocates that will help become one of those internal referrals. This has been one of the most lucrative networking strategies I've ever used. It's won over C-suites at billion-dollar companies in my sales career, and it's landed me jobs too, complete strangers into those hiring me. So please steal that from me. And then finally, I want you to scan this QR code because I want you to start networking today. Hope I'm not in the way. What's going to happen is it's going to bring you to Google Sheets. Download the app. You're going to need Google Sheets. It's just Excel in the cloud. It's going to have first name, last name, and LinkedIn profile URL. Throw your information in there. What I'm giving you, if nothing else today, was about 300 new contacts, because that's how many folks that I've spoken to today. If everyone fills it in, you just gained 300 new opportunities to build relationships, connections. Might they be just a good friend of yours for years to come? Awesome. Might they be just a passerby connection who content you follow on LinkedIn? Maybe. But there's a good chance that those become future colleagues of yours. And so there's so much value in connecting with everyone in the room, and I really advise that you, moving forward, everyone that you meet, pull up LinkedIn, make that connection, and I hope that the value of those long-term connections really hit home today with you. Thanks, everybody.
I told you he was awesome. I told you. So practical ideas that you can utilize today at that 4 o'clock finance event. You go there, practical tips that you can use at your next networking event, and obviously things you can use as you're getting ready to hit a round for co-ops. If you guys have other questions, Mike's going to stick around for a couple of minutes. Happy to answer questions. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of the week.
Hey, what up? Dude, thanks for being
My
front
name's
row.
Alexander Happen.
Alexander, nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
I'm a business law major. I was going to ask you, so I saw your LinkedIn. I saw last classes you posted how jobs are actively changing. So I was going to ask you, because jobs are actively changing, do you believe in generalized or specialized roles? And how do you believe those affect the workplace?
Yeah, I think being too honed in on one job title is silly, considering AI is going to create 180 million new jobs and replace 100 million over the next handful of years. So the reality is the jobs you guys are going to land don't even exist today. So it's more about, honestly, the building relationships, learning as much as you can in class and in co-ops, staying in tune with AI as much as you can, learning how things are evolving and what jobs have been created because of this crazy world that we live in. Stay on top of that stuff, and also focus on skill building to the creativity, critical thinking. Like, there's lots of ways that you can go about that, but I think that staying on top of all the AI trends, not being fixated on one singular job title, is definitely the move. And I'm happy to talk about this more as on LinkedIn and beyond.
Expanding on that, do you believe in the AI bubble?
What do you consider that?
Just the thought that the AI market's going to crash here in like a few years, months.
It's here to stay. I'm sure there is a bubble that is going to pop, but I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to connect with you on that later.
Please do. Awesome. Thanks. Hi.
I just wanted to introduce myself and say thank you. This is really interesting.
Oh, awesome.
Especially the sheet thing that you just put up. That was, I've never had anyone do anything like that. So I just want to say thank you. My name's
Oh
Elise.
yeah, Elise. Great to meet you. Absolutely. Thanks for being here. Hi.
I'm Mike. Nice
What's
to meet
going
you,
on?
Ray, again.
Thanks for
Really-
kicking off the discussion with
Of
the
course,
conversation stuff.
I love what you pointed on about. I feel like that's really unique for a speaker to talk really in depth about networking conversations.
Right.
So I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn.
Amazing. Please do.
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much.
I put my information, great to meet you. I put my information as the first line so that you could grab it.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Hi, I'm Charlotte. I was back there. I just want to say I really love your presentation.
Oh, thank
I think
you.
it's really important to talk about how to converse well with other people because it's
That's all this is,
something-
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm in business and engineering
Mhm.
major, but I was looking into the Howley Finance Fellowship. even though
nice.
I'm not a finance major. I think it'll still be good. So I'm gonna put your effort and a follow through.
Amazing.
Send an email to Becker. So I'm gonna
Please
try
tell
that.
me how it went.
Yeah.
And that is the follow through on the LinkedIn
Yeah.
connection. I don't know. Did we connect
Yeah,
yet?
I just sent you.
Oh,
a
great.
request,
Well,
yeah.
my phone's over there.
Yeah.
Well, it was recording, and now he's just like, fuck this recording. I'm kicking this over after I call you out nicely throughout the deck. But anyway, that doesn't naturally
Yeah.
follow through. It's like, I want to hear how that went for
Yeah.
you so then I can continue to help you more. And your follow through shows me that you care.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. You got it. Great to meet you.
Hello,
What's
my name
going
is Isaiah Sadik. I'm an accounting and finance major. I just wanted to say that it was a great presentation and
Thank you.
excited to connect and follow through more. Any more advice for, I don't know, maybe just opening yourself up
Tell me what you mean by that, or where you struggle.
for just I don't know, overall confidence with, maybe imposter syndrome with connecting.
Mm. Well, when we're feeling impostery, we feel like we don't belong, like we're a fraud a little bit. We don't feel like we fit in, or sometimes I feel that way too, because I don't have 30 years of experience in a certain field. But there really is value in the fake it till you make it. The fake it, act as if until you kind of become that person who is confident. And I think if you went into tonight's conversation with the event, you prepped 2 open-ended questions, just 2. Would that start with what or how or something like that instead of a close-ended? And you say, you know what, I'm going in with these 2 questions and I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna see if it works. You trip and fall on the first one, it kind of doesn't sound good. You do it again and it starts to feel a little bit better. And you do it a 3rd time and now you're like, you know what, I think I can do this question thing. And suddenly you end up tricking yourself through your actual behaviors that, wait, I can do this. Like you put yourself out there by being here, just like Chris did by saying something valuable in class. Like you're doing the thing right now, actively combating imposter syndrome by showing up after class. Instead of going to get food, you asked me a question, I remember you, you're doing it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
I'm excited to connect with you.
Awesome, please do. Yeah, what up?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm not gonna lie, most of the times in the presentations, I'm not as engaged, but this one actually resonated with me, which is big for me because a lot of the times they don't resonate.
Thanks for saying that, I
so
appreciate it.
The thing with connections is I've noticed a lot, a lot of them are shallow and stuff like
Right.
that. Would you say that genuine just friendship and bonding could be more valuable than
Yep.
let me try to rephrase this question actually. I think I have a better way of phrasing it. Would you say LinkedIn connections are actually that valuable? If let's say you just connect with the person and you don't know them, what's your opinion on that?
Well, it shouldn't stop there.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about our relationship.
Yeah.
You said something cool in class. You beat me to the punch in one of my slides. No one did that in the other classes. I love that you said likable. I think that was what you said. I connected with you more on that moment. I referenced you a couple of times. You came up to me afterwards, cemented a connection. I'll definitely remember you among the 300 kids I met today. You, as a step in the whole process of relationship building, you connect with me on LinkedIn. Did you? You
Yeah,
should.
I'm going to, yeah.
Great. You connect with me. Now you see all of my content. I see your post. Maybe you post like, hey, I got a co-op.
Yeah.
I like that post. I send you a DM and I'm like, dude, congratulations. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay? 6 months later, you had the best co-op ever. And you say, thanks for that chat we did in my class. Co-op's been great. Here's what I loved. Here's what I didn't love.
Yeah.
you see how we're just staying in touch, and LinkedIn's just like kind of a vehicle to support that.
Like cool about business, or like I think like or people I've seen that do well. I feel like it just maybe I'm wrong, but would you say that like hard skills might not be as important as like the social skills and like getting to know people?
I think you can learn some of the hard skills, and I think you need to practice, and I think that people hire more for soft skills, I would say, than hard skills. I think what we talked about, being more conversational, right? Like that is more valuable in an interview than that hard skill that anybody can maybe learn.
Okay, have you ever read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People?
You know what? I admittedly I read it, some of it during college, and I didn't finish it. I'm being 100%. I do own it though.
Yeah, because like
Was that Carnegie? Who was that? Who's the
Dale
author?
Carnegie.
Yeah, Dale. Yep.
Yeah, because a lot of like what you said, like it kind of resonated with me because I really resonated with that book too. So it's just like I kind of put those two things together, and I was like, oh, like that actually resonated with me a lot.
Incredible.
It was
Dude,
a
I'm
great
s-
presentation.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Please connect
I'll
with me on
definitely
LinkedIn.
connect with you, 100%.
Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
So it's a huge networking. So it's been an interest of mine. I've just been trying to figure out how to not like back down from it because I'm a student. Because they always say like invest as much time as possible because like it is fun.
Thanks for being front row. Thanks for being front row.
I do it
like,
so
I get
pay
scared and I like
attention
tackle so
easier.
much and
I
then
have
they're like,
very bad ADHD, so
Well,
it
you,
just helps me pay attention easier.
was it
Yeah.
something worth paying attention to today?
Yeah, I mean,
Good.
for me, it was useful upon. I know it very well. I've done it a lot, so like
Good.
a lot of my connections on LinkedIn and also other profiles are because I've done a lot of in-work networking.
Beautiful.
I work for Tapestry, which is coaching Kate Spade.
Awesome.
A lot of internal growth.
Great.
So I'm very, what you said was, to me, I was like, it's really nice to hear it again.
Good.
But I think it's good for the general body to hear that.
Yeah.
It is
Awesome.
important. It is.
It's a lifelong skill.
It is.
It really is.
It is.
Good. Well, keep doing what you're doing. Awesome. Yeah, great to meet you.
she just left the team. Well, the thing is, she's had a lot of issues with